JD Vance meets the Pope on Easter. The next day, Pope Francis dies. Coincidence? X doesn't think so. They're already saying, forget George Soros, JD. Go visit Fauci next. All right, folks, this one's straight out of the Vatican X-Files. So here's the timeline. On Easter Sunday, April 20th, Vice President JD Vance swings by the Vatican for what is supposed to be a polite little chocolate and rosary photo op. By Monday morning, the Pope's dead.
Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, has died.
Now, I'm absolutely not saying that JD Vance killed the Pope, but apparently the entire internet is. JD Vance killed the Pope is trending faster on X than Hunter Biden can misplace a laptop. And let's be honest, this is why they tell politicians not to shake hands during flu season. But hey, at least Vance walked out of there with a little chocolate egg and not a divine subpoena. But wait, there's more, guys. Before the Pope kicked the bucket, he threw some holy shade at Vance. Why? Because JD had the audacity, the gall, the testicular fortitude to say, just maybe, Americans should prioritize their own citizens before taking in every single person from a collapsing continent.
Just not to return to the border, but I think so many of our issues come back to the border, because if you take 30, 40 million illegal aliens, you take Medicare fraud, Social Security fraud. Why are we taking the people's Social Security payments and giving it to illegal aliens? We know that's happening in the United States of America today. We've got to stop it. If you get control of the border, Mercedes, you do more to control the fiscal problem, the financial problems that we have in this country than almost anything. Get illegal aliens out of our country, make sure American tax dollars go to American people. That is how you solve the fiscal crisis in the United States.
Cue the Vatican meltdown, please. Cue the music. Francis blasted JD's quote-unquote order of love concept like he was doing a TED Talk.
Pope Francis had very sharp words for President Trump's plans for mass deportations in a letter that was sent to the U.S. bishops. The Pope warned that the forceful removal of people because of their illegal status deprives them of, quote, their inherent dignity and will end badly. Now, in this letter, Pope Francis said that he was concerned about what was happening in the United States, but he did say that nations have the right to defend themselves and keep their communities safe from criminals. But he went on to explain that, quote, the act of deporting people who, in many cases, have left their own land for reasons of extreme poverty, insecurity, exploitation, persecution, or serious deterioration of the environment, damages the dignity of men and women and of entire families, placing them in a state of particular vulnerability, end quote.
Basically saying that Jesus wanted open borders and unlimited social programs. Newsflash, Padre, Jesus fed 5,000 people once. He didn't say, let's build an entitlement program for all of eternity. Now, in classic leftist legacy media fashion, this Pope had become the globalist mascot. He wasn't giving blessings. He was giving out political advice on a lot of different occasions. He condemned the deportation policies. He slammed America first. And at one point, I half expected him to endorse Gavin Newsom for 2028 and demand sanctuary statuses for eternity.
Conditions that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset.
So Vance flies in to set the record straight and says, hey, I love church, but I also love my country too. And suddenly, poof, the Pope's gone. And now X is lit up with memes. Vance Easter egg of death. JD Vance, please go visit Pelosi next. Vatican assassinated by common sense. But hey, guys, I got to keep it respectful here. He was the Pope. I mean, for sure, he lectured us like Joy Behar at brunch, but at least he dressed a lot better. Pope Francis had called Donald Trump's immigration stance anti-Christian. JD Vance says his moral obligation was to his kids, his community, and America, not some illegal hombre who swam across the Rio Grande with 3 cartel stamps on his arm.
Everybody listen, this is Mexico. That's America. I don't know about you guys, but I want to go to America. Yeah! I say we go over there and we show Donald Trump that we mean business. Yeah! I want to go to Starbucks. Yeah! Huh? I want to hear some Nicki Minaj. Yeah! Some Drake. Yeah! Some Jason Derulo. Yeah! Who the fuck is Jason Don Julio? It's too hard to sleep.
And the Pope didn't really like that. In fact, he came out swinging in his Easter address, which, by the way, he was too sick to read. He had his intern do it. Even while barely being able to speak, he made sure to take his last dig at JD Vance and Donald Trump before he clocked out. Classy. Let's talk about timing. This Pope has been in and out of the hospital for months. Double pneumonia, kidney issues, couldn't breathe, but he still managed to pop off about the U.S. immigration policy like he was on MSNBC.
But to me, that is why Kilmar Abrego Garcia's specific case, the case of the gentleman who's a makeup artist out of California who was also sent to that prison, that is why the 75% of the folks who have been sent, the men who have been sent there that don't have criminal records, that is why this is so important. Because if they could do it to them, if they could snatch students off the street without any pushback or recourse, they will do it to any of us. And to be very clear, it's going to be the people of color and vulnerable communities that are next in line.
I think that's right, and that's certainly part of why the African-American community is so strongly behind the supporting Kilmar.
Yeah, we're like, we are not for this.
Yeah, because as you just said, if they're going to whisk them away, what are they going to do with us?
And the next day, after Easter Mass and a 5-minute handshake with Vance, bam, he's gone. Now the libs are crying. What did JD say to him? I don't know. Maybe it was something radical, like, I believe in borders. Here's what I think. If the Pope had time to bless babies and throw shade at MAGA before flatlining, I'm pretty sure JD didn't kill him. He finished him with an argument. So let's stop pretending this was some Vatican assassination and start asking better questions like, why is the leader of the global religion spending more time defending illegal immigrants than preaching the gospel? Maybe, just maybe, his replacement will stick to the job of being the Pope and not running PR for the DNC. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comments section down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next.